Fine. We good. Today we're planning 3, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. We were at lesson 45 next, yeah?
Yeah.
Your lesson 45 is open?
Yeah.
You're in 44, bro.
Wow, 45.
We finished 44. We have to open 45.
Did you finish 44?
Yeah.
Can you go to 44? Yeah.
Remember, we put the label. Remember, we had that discussion where if you click on indoor, it should select the indoor circle.
Yeah.
Right? So that one goes inside label. Label and close that inside a label. Right?
Oh.
That was the last discussion we had, right? When you have a list.
Sure. Yeah.
And you want to click on the name and it should select the radio button.
Yeah.
Cool? Fine. We go to 45 now. We're going to start the timer.
Yeah.
All good. Yep. So lesson 45, we have finished most of this page. We talked about ID, classes and IDs, and how we put a class name and then we had a H3 and that had, we put a set of styles for that, and then it changed the whole, all the H3s, all the colors of the H3s, right?
Sure.
And then we discussed about the concept of having an ID,
Yeah.
right? We give an ID to one element. You can have 10 paragraphs, 20 paragraphs, 10 list items, etc., etc. An ID is given to one element, and that is how you try to refer to it, or that is how you identify that particular element on the page. Okay. So the ID attribute is used to identify specific HTML elements. Each ID attribute's value must be unique from all other ID values for the entire page. Add an ID attribute with the value indoor to the radio button. When elements have multiple attributes, the order of the attributes does not matter. Okay, so we need to add the ID attribute with the value indoor to the radio button. Ideally, although what they say is the order of the attributes doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter. But typically whenever you're writing, first you'll write the tag name, then you'll write the ID, then you'll write ID equal to whatever the ID name, then you'll write class equals class name, whatever is the class name, then the rest of the properties.
Sure.
If there's an ID and if there is a class, you ideally want to put those two as the first two things.
ID, class, and other attributes.
Yeah, ID, class, and then everything else.
Okay.
Okay. And in our case, we are having ID equal to indoor. You need to have the space there, yeah? All good?
Yeah.
Fine. So you understand what the ID is used for.
Yeah.
Okay. So probably sometime later we will have the class thing. Okay. And there is an order of precedence is there. Okay. And there'll be one nice site. Okay, let's precedence specificity. Let us see if there are. We're not going to get into the particulars of it, but we are trying to look at this. So whenever we talk about styles, right? We can have styles written in different ways. We can have a style written for a tag. We can have a class defined and we can apply that class to multiple things. You can have an ID defined and you can have the ID written in CSS, right? And you can have a style written inline along with the element, right? So in this whole specificity thing, we will look at this in detail, okay? But if an element has an ID, has a class, and has an element style itself, In this case, the styles in ID will override the other ones.
Yeah.
Okay. So if this one says h3 background equals 3, class name is h3 elements background equals red, ID is h3 elements background equals blue, then blue will be the one which will be the value. Okay. We will see if there is any demo type thing. Okay, let's not get into this. Generally, there is a demo that I have come across where if you just set the value, right? We'll get into this whenever we get into the CSS. Okay. So because I don't want to confuse you as of now, but just know that you can have styles defined at different levels. You can have it defined at a class, at an element level, at a whatever else level, and whatnot. See, this is the formula. Just look at what do these guys say. See here, for example, the concepts. 5 things you should know about CSS specificity. ID is more powerful than how many ever classes you have. Now say for example in this ID is foo, okay, and ID is denoted by a hash thing, and this one's color is tomato. Okay, bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4 are class names and their color is, let us say, blue. Let us say this is red. Then the ID style will overwrite the class style. Okay.
So the color will be tomato.
Yeah, color will be tomato. Okay. What if two selectors apply to the same element? Now see, in this case what they have done is, we will get into this later, Syed. Just understand that inline style will always be applied no matter whether you have ID, class or tag styles. If you don't have an inline style is a style that you will write here. Here you have input ID type, right? Here you will write style. Style equals, let us say, background color red, semicolon. This is probably not for an ID because obviously this one does not have a background color, right? The input does not have a background color. So let us say I'll remove this style here and I'll put it in label. Right, so the whole box gets the background color, because obviously for an input thing, for a radio button, I mean for the button does not have a background. It does not have a property for background. But when we're putting it for the whole label, you see how this is applicable here, right?
Sure.
So if you had, let us say you have an ID and then whenever you have a class or whatnot, it will overwrite stuff. So that is what matters. Okay.
Yeah.
We will get into that in a bit. How do we go to... We finished. Oh, I think I had not saved this. Add an ID. Check your code. Submit and go. Okay. 45. We'll close this up. When you get into CSS, all of this will make sense. A lot of this stuff will make sense. See here. This image makes sense, right? Can you do it? I just want to see the image. So you see this LI. LI is what? It's a list item. It's a tag.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you specify a style for a tag, you see element is 1. So result is 1, 0.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have dot, a dot represents a class.
Yeah.
A hash represents an ID. Okay. If you have dot lorem, then only class style is applicable. No element style. Okay. Hash is ID. Okay, so you get ID get score, the other class and element get 0 score. Okay, and style equal to quotes is how you will put inline here. Style equal to, and then you will specify the style. That gets the highest amount of specificity. Right, that gets the highest preference. Okay, so then you see ULOL red, right? LI dot red. So LI has whatever element styles. UL style is applicable, OL style is applicable, LI style is applicable, right? And dot red is class, so class style is applicable. Hash ipsum li, so it's a class name of ipsum applied to the list element. So for ID you have 100 score, for the element you have one set of rules. So this is how the specificity result is calculated. So in time, the reason why I am speaking about this is there will be a time where you are writing a style for some element, and it is not getting applied. And that time you'll have to go through the history of all the parent elements and whatnot, and then calculate for this style what is its score, for this style what is its score, and whichever is the highest score is the one that gets applied. So you figure out what is the order in which it is written, right? Complex stuff right now does not matter at all. Just keep it in mind.
Okay.
Because anyway, this gets recorded. Always you have a back reference, right? So fine. So now we are in step 46. Okay. We are inside the form. We just have the label. Everything else is outside. Next, another radio button with the option outdoor with a new label element. The new radio button should be placed after the first one. Also set its ID attribute value to outdoor. So what do you want to do?
So
do you want to copy it and paste it down and do like that, or what?
Yeah.
Okay. So instead of doing that, can you do Control Z? Go up. You use Shift Alt and down.
Shift Alt and down. Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Shift
Alt down.
Sure.
Okay, so it will duplicate the line. Shift Alt and up and down will basically duplicate it up or duplicate it down.
Oh,
okay. So we're going to take this, Shift Alt down. We want this to be outdoor. And its ID should be outdoor as well. Okay. And all good?
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out. Should work.
Sorry.
What happened? It worked?
No.
It should be below. You have the item in a wrong order, it says. Okay, what you do is you copy both these lines, refresh the page, because I think it had something to do with the cursor moving down. Try now. Okay. Your new radio button and associated label should be below the first one. Right, so you have made type equals, what should the type be?
Ah, radio. Yeah.
Okay, next. Step 47. We are inside the form, we have the two labels. Okay, notice that both the radio buttons can be selected at the same time. Can they?
Yeah.
Okay. You can select indoor as well as outdoor.
Sure.
Right? But how should a radio button work?
Only one.
Correct. And for them, right now what is happening? You have a label and you have a label and you have a you have that disk and you have the name.
The name.
Okay. I mean the what do you call it? A radio button and the name. And it's just a radio button and a name. When you click it, it gets selected. Right? Now there has to be a way for this to understand that out of this group of 3 or 4, select one.
One only.
So you have to tell this is the group, right? From this group you have to choose one. So that is how we are going to deal with it. Okay. To make it so, selecting one radio button automatically deselects the other. Both buttons must have a name attribute with the same value. Okay. Remember that what did we do when we had what was that? A form input.
Yeah.
Text. What did we do in that HTML forms? We did something here, right? Form, label, for.
Yeah.
Okay. Input, type, ID, blah, 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 and name.
Yeah.
Right? So what happened to the name? The name was the one which we sent.
Sure.
Right? So you go to try it yourself, and if I say this is John and this is Do, the data that we will send is name equals f name, right? Then we'll get f name equal to John, and we'll get L name equal to Do.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I click this, here you have an input, right? So we'll put a break here, and we'll put a button. Button type equals submit, close, call this submit / button.
For the type you didn't put it.
Yeah. Now if we run this, we should have a button here. Now if I submit this, then it should tell, hey, whatever. So it's basically telling that this form does not have an action, right?
Yeah.
So we will look at HTML form with HTML form, HTML input types. Let us say this is checkbox, right? This is the radio button. Does this form have an action? This doesn't have an action either. Or let's just try here. Now if I do some text and if I do submit, oh, we don't see the output. This is HTML form. Let's try submitting a form. No. Submit, type equals submit. Dude, can you just see, form has an action.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is the place where we are sending the f name and L name to. Okay, so let us say f name and L name are the values we are sending. Or let us say, for example, okay, so when you send this, it is sent as f name equal to this, f name equals Boris, and L name equal to this. That is the name that you are specifying. Now when we do this submit, we get f name equals this, L name equals this.
Sure.
Okay, now if we have now what is the thing we have over here? We have inputs, right? We have label and input. Okay, let us just add one input here. All right, we'll remove the second label. Now I have input equals ID. If I run this, I should get input. Now I've selected indoor.
Yeah.
It has been selected. Now if I submit this, what should happen? Let us say A and something. Okay, you get f name equals something, L name equals something. What happened to the input?
Nothing changed. The same thing.
Right, but what did we do for the input for the radio button? What happened to the radio button? Because the radio button also we should have got a value, right? We selected indoor, right?
Yeah.
And we selected
What's the name?
A, B, C, D, E, F and submit. We only got L name, which is the name which we were passing. And there was a name missing over here. There is no name tag, right?
Yeah.
So if I say name equal to, what shall we call this?
Name.
We'll call this input radio option. Okay, we'll call this radio option. Run. Now we will do this and this, and if I select this, it should get ID, or it should get I think it should get ID value. Let us see. It says radio option on. Okay.
Yeah, because
okay.
it's selected.
Yeah, that's just because we have selected it, but we should be able to pass it something, right? We'll figure it out.
Okay.
But we obviously need a name. That name is this name that is being sent. That is what is the tag we are talking about. Okay. So now what do we need to do? Add a name attribute with indoor dash outdoor. We have type equals radio, and we need the name for both of them.
Yeah.
So we'll put it on both the lines. Name equal to indoor dash outdoor. Okay. Now for example, we'll copy these two labels. Now let us see what happens here. I'll remove this stuff. Add these two labels. Okay, run this. Let us say I select outdoor or indoor. Now both of them have the same name, right?
Yeah.
That is how it knows that both of them belong to the same question.
Okay.
Okay. So if I put indoor, outdoor, I select either indoor or outdoor, it will choose the options. It will switch because both of them say that this is for the same option. Spelling is wrong. Nope. Double O-R.
Double O?
Yeah, door. D-O-O-R.
Indoor.
Yeah. Yeah, should work.
Yeah.
Right.
Submit, go to next.
Yeah.
Challenge.
47. 48. Now we're still at the labels. If you select the indoor radio button and submit the form data for the button is based on its name and value attributes. Okay. You see the name is this. Okay. Name is this. And value, you are wondering what is the value. Now you see over here, if I do this run, you see these fields are empty.
Yeah.
This is empty and this is empty.
Sure.
Now if I type something here and if I type something here, essentially what happens is the input where you have type, no, like how you have name attribute, there will be a value attribute. Okay. So if you go to HTML forms, let us say we go to forms. You see this John and Doe here?
Yeah.
That is essentially this value is typed here, right?
Yeah.
That value is typed because you see this value here, value equal to John or value equal to Doe, right? So that is the value being sent. Okay. So now say for example, if I say instead of Doe, I say don't. And if I run this, that is the value that is put here. If I submit this, that is the value that is sent. Okay. So similarly in our form, right? Here when I type ASDF and ASDF, value becomes ASDF. Like that we need a value for indoor and outdoor, right? Yeah. Right now I only says whether it is on or off. So if I come here and if I say value equal to, for this, for indoor, let us say value is indoor. And for outdoor, value is outdoor. Okay. And if I select either one of these, the value is provided and sent. Okay. If I do submit, you will say indoor dash outdoor equal to on. It says as of now. We will see how to fix it. But the value is what you add it here. Okay. So now we just need to add value for both the options. Value equal to double quotes for this guy. Add a value attribute to both radio buttons. For the convenience, set the button's value attribute to the same as its ID. Value same as ID. Indoor and this one should be outdoor. Submit. All good.
Should I put it before name?
Yeah, it's all good. Anywhere.
Okay.
All good?
Yeah.
Fine. How much time do we have? We have about a minute. Okay. Submit and go to the next channel. 49. The field set element is used to group related inputs and elements together in a web form. Field set elements are block level elements, meaning that they appear on a new line. Nest the indoor and outdoor radio buttons within a field set element and don't forget to indent the radio buttons. Before we move ahead, what is a field set?
It's like a section.
Yeah, but obviously it has some other meaning, right? For the HTML. You have a form and you have a field set.
Yeah.
Okay. But what does the field set do? It is used to group related elements in a form. Okay. Field set tag draws a box around the related elements. Okay. So essentially, how would you use it is, let us say you have this form. This is the group.
Yeah.
Okay. If I take this field set, oops, let us say that is personal information. Let us say so now you see this group is one set and this group is second set. That's it.
Yeah.
That is all field set does, where it groups everything together.
Yeah.
So anything that is inside a field group is displayed as one block, one whole piece. Okay, it will not break it. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we need to put all of this stuff inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get back to it. We need to put all of this inside a field set. Check my code. Submit and all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got a box around it and the whole thing was made as one group.
Yeah.
Okay. Submit and go to next. Now we are at 50. We will get back.
No, skip that 5 minutes. Let's go.
You sure?
Yeah. Let's do 25 minutes.
All good. So now that you have got a hang of it, right? Essentially what you have to understand on the HTML side is you'll have a tag and you'll have attributes to it.
Yeah.
The attributes do stuff to the tag. That's about it. Okay.
Yeah.
It is the same thing. It just repeats for every different tag. Every different tag will have its own attributes, its own properties, its own things like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So till now we have sort of been spending a little more time on, hey, this is what the tag is, this is what it does, this is what it does, right? But now you are sort of familiar with what a tag is, what
elements,
how they generally function.
Yeah.
There'll be a tag, there'll be a set of attributes. Attributes will define properties and stuff like that.
Sure.
Okay. So now we can start moving things faster and faster.
Okay.
Okay. Again, we will repeat the same thing for the CSS. When we start the CSS, again we'll start really slow. Once you get a hang of how to write a class, how to write an ID, and what are the different types of properties, then we'll make it fast. Right now, you are comfortable with HTML elements.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we'll try to go faster. Now we're on 50. Fine. We just have the field set. The legend elements act as a caption for the content in the field set element. Okay. The legend, you see this legend is sort of like the heading, dude, for the group. For the whole group, it gives like a heading. Okay. It gives the users context about what they should enter into that part of the form. Add a legend element with the text, is your cat an indoor or outdoor cat, above both the radio buttons. So we need a legend, close the legend. Okay. See what it looks like on the right side. All good. Asks like a question over there and groups the options together. Okay. Next, you are going to add some new form input elements. So add another field set element directly below the current field set element. So we have field set starting here. Here is the field set. The field set is ending here. We need a new field set below it. Okay, that is all they are expecting. A field set just below it.
Below the current field set element. So
Yeah.
at the end, yeah?
No, see where is the current field set element?
It starts from here.
Yeah, it starts there, but where does it end?
Here.
Yeah, so it should be below that. Yeah, but you don't need to do that as of now.
Ah, okay, leave it there.
Yeah, that is what they're doing. So obviously the idea of this is to do it step by step, right? But you're already thinking what the next step is. That, hey, my field set starts here, it ends here. Right?
I thought this second form we have to do it in field set.
Yeah, that is essentially what they are going to do in the next step. But they're just taking baby steps.
That's true. That's
Okay.
better, yeah.
Go to the next one, 51. Okay, and now we are outside the previous field set, right? The indoor outdoor cat is done. Add a legend element with what's your cat's personality inside the field set. So this field set gets a legend. With this question, we should just have a box below. Okay, check your code. It's all good.
That's okay.
Yep. All good?
Yeah.
Done. 53. Okay, so we just have the legend. We are inside the field set, inside the second field set, and we just have the legend. Forms commonly use checkboxes for questions that may have more than one answer. For example, here's a checkbox with the option tacos. Input type equal to checkbox tacos. Okay?
Yeah.
Under the legend element, you must just the element you just added, add an input with its type attribute set to checkbox and give it the option of loving. So remember how we did this one here, input, and we did type equals radio.
Yeah.
Input, and then later we added the ID and the name and the value and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So now we'll just talk about adding the input and type equals checkbox.
Okay.
Input. Inputs are self-closing.
Self-closing, yeah.
Okay. Type equals checkbox. And give it the option loving. All good?
Yeah.
Alright. So up we had radio. Right.
Yeah.
So a radio button only one gets selected. Checkbox you can check multiple.
I'll take that.
Okay. Submit and go to next. 54. Okay. Add an ID attribute with the value loving to the checkbox input. Add an ID. So my preference is to add the ID and class at the start.
At the start.
Okay. ID equal to loving. Typically, Syed, the ID values, any values inside should always be small.
Small one, yeah.
Okay. On HTML side as well as the CSS side, class names, IDs, whenever you're naming them, the convention is to use a small alphabet. If you use a capital, nothing wrong is going to happen. It will work, but the typical convention is to use the smaller one.
Small letters, yeah.
Okay. Step 55. There's another way to associate an input element's text with the element itself. you can nest the text within a label element and add a for attribute with the same value as the input's ID attribute, input element's ID attribute, right? So this you can see over, if you do run, you see label first name.
Yeah.
If I click on first name also, John gets clicked. If I click on last name also, this gets clicked.
Yeah.
Right? And similarly, when we had the radio buttons, right? What did we do for the radio? When I click on indoor, this should get selected, right? And for that to happen, what happened? The indoor text was put inside a label. How it, right? And the word indoor. If I take indoor from here and if I put it before the input, it will just come before that. But obviously, typically, we want the radio to be on the left,
on
right?
The left side,
okay. So we will undo it here. Similarly, for the first name, we want the first name to be before or either above or whatnot, right? So in this case, we are just putting the label before the first name. Okay. So if I take this label and if I put it after input, what did we do here? We put label, text and close the label.
Yeah.
Here we are doing the same thing. We are putting, let us say, the label we are adding for, right? So here for the radio button, we started the label tag. We just added the text. And inside this label, we added this part.
Yeah.
In the case of the text thing, we are probably putting the label as a tag above.
Yeah.
As a tag above. As a separate tag.
Yeah.
Right? In this, the radio was inside the tag. So you didn't have to specify that, hey, this name belongs to this radio button. Okay. But for a label, if I say this label is for the field which has the ID F name, which you might be like, hey, the label just comes before this. Why do I need to specify this? Obviously, this can change display, right? Things can move from line to line.
Yeah.
Its display can break and whatnot. So now say, for example, if I take this label and if I put it just after the submit, if I run this, what should happen? Now if I click this, I should be able to type. Correct? But if I click this is last name. If I click this, so the point I'm trying to make is just because the label is above its name, it does not mean it's related. Right? I need to tell that this name points to this field. This label is for this text field, for this input field. Okay. This label last name is for this input field. Right? So that is what is the point of having a label. Because see, how many times in your life have you, like probably if you had name or something below, maybe on your mobile you click the box.
Yeah.
With your finger you click the box because you want to type it. But typically on the computer, if I have these options shown, right? Even on the mobile also, if you are shown this option, you might not tap on the circle. You might tap on the word.
Sure.
Correct?
Yeah.
So that is the same thing that you're doing here for first name. And this is so normal.
Yeah.
When you click on the name, this field gets selected. It's so normal that you don't think about it. But actually you think about it when you fill forms on
That's true.
any PC, right? A lot of time I find myself clicking the name and expect this to highlight. Right? There's another way to associate. So basically what we did in the previous one, we put the label outside.
Yeah.
Label was enclosing the text as well as the input field. But in this, the label is a separate field outside. Okay. There's another way to associate an input's text with the elements itself. You can nest the text within a label and add a for attribute which has the same value as the input element's ID attribute. Associate the text loving with the checkbox by only nesting the text loving in a label element and place it to the right side of the checkbox input. Okay. So what they are saying is, we need to make that association. What we did over here, in indoor and outdoor, we place the indoor and we put the label outside, right? Label starts here. We have the input checkbox. We have the text and we close the label tag. here.
Yeah.
Now we need to put the loving after. So what they are asking for is, we put the label here and close the label. Okay. And we need to associate this label with the checkbox. Okay. By only nesting the text loving in a label. The loving is now nested inside a label tag.
Yeah.
Okay. And place it to the right side of the checkbox. Place it to the right side. So you have an extra slash. You want it on the right side, right? It's on the right side now. But this loving is not associated with the checkbox.
Yeah.
In order for you to do it, you need to do label for equal to whatever is the ID name. Here the ID is loving. Okay. And now loving is associated with it.
Sure.
Check code should work. Hint, the text loving should no longer be located directly to the right of your checkbox. It should be wrapped in a label. Okay. So, although it is wrapped in a label, it is looking for the entry to be in a new line. Okay. All good?
Yeah. So he's saying associate text loving with checkbox by only nesting the text loving in a label. So I will take this one.
Yeah.
And I put it in the label, right?
Yep.
Label. And at the end I put slash label. Okay.
Okay.
Then in the label element and place it into the right of the side of the checkbox element. Where it's asking for here. You can nest the text within the label element and add the for attribute with the same value as the input. So ID.
And why are you doing the for again?
So you can
Associate them both.
the text with that box.
Yeah.
So here should I put?
No, the for will go on the label.
The for will go on the
Yeah.
label. For equals to the same ID name, right? Loving.
Yeah.
That's alright?
Yep. So basically, your input has an ID.
Yeah.
And the label is for the input.
Label for the input, yeah.
Okay. Although I might come across as an expert, I don't essentially recall the ID, the type, and the for what purposes they are for. So literally every time I have to do a form, like I literally have to go and revise. Okay, because you might not write forms that often, right?
True.
On a website, what you'll have one contact form.
True.
Right. Unless you're not in like an application, let us say, for example, you have like a gov.uk thing.
Yeah.
Right. Everything is basically a form, right? The only reason why anybody goes to the site is like, hey, I need help with this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the right information? And you go to gov.uk. For everything you have a form, right? But typically, generally, in a lot of places, you might not have forms that often. Okay. So I don't remember the form stuff, and I literally have to check. Hey, what is the for? What is the ID for? I keep forgetting it. Okay. Oh, I'm getting a call. Hey, Kamesh, what's up? All good, man. All good, Kamesh. I was wondering where the sound was coming from. Anyway, so you understood the name and this one, yeah? The for, okay? Anyway, step 56. You want to have a look at something?
No.
Okay. How much time do we have? We close.
Yeah.
Add the name attribute with the value personality to the checkbox input element. Add the name. Name for what?
We don't have name for input.
No.
We have ID, type, and
To the checkbox, right? Type equals checkbox. Oh yeah, this is name. With the value personality to the checkbox input element. Okay. Name equal to okay, fine. So remember here we had input indoor outdoor, right? And that was the value that we were sort of passing. Indoor dash outdoor, what is the value? Indoor or outdoor, right?
Yeah.
Like that. Here the name of the value that you're probably passing is personality. Okay.
Yeah.
While you won't notice this in the browser, doing this makes it easier for a server to process your web form, especially when there are multiple checkboxes. That is again this part, Syed. Like you have this thing where you're putting the value, right? I mean, you're giving this name, right? Name fname and name lname, and that is what you're submitting.
Yeah.
Right? Fname and lname, right? That is what you're also doing for the checkbox. You're giving it a name for the value that you're passing. Okay? All good?
Yeah.
Step 57. Add another checkbox after the one you just added. The ID attribute should be lazy and the name attribute value should not be the same as the last checkbox. Add another checkbox. So we'll just duplicate this checkbox. Okay. ID attribute should be lazy. ID should be lazy. Okay. Type equals checkbox. Name equals personality. We don't need to change that because it is a text checkbox and it is the personality is the value you are sending.
Yeah.
Label for should match the ID. Correct?
Yeah.
So that has to be lazy. And obviously the text that you're showing has to be lazy. Okay. Also add a label element to the right of the checkbox with the text lazy. Make sure to associate the label element with the new checkbox using the for attribute. All good?
Why do I have field set in here?
Just reload your page.
Oh, it's going on. What's going on?
Are you pressing delete or something?
No, I'm pressing Alt down.
It is Shift Alt down.
Shift Alt. Oh yeah, I press L down. Sorry.
What is Alt down in VS Code? Obviously, it is doing something. Right? You finish the editing and stuff.
Okay.
Okay. ID is lazy, type is checkbox, name is personality. Label for?
Label for lazy.
Yeah. And
Okay.
the text.
Where is text?
You have loving written there, right? Last line, sir.
Last line, this one.
Line 45 end, yeah.
Should I put lazy?
Yep. You're adding a new option, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right.
Loving or lazy?
Submit and continue. Line 50, exercise 58. Okay.
Yeah.
Add a final checkbox after the previous one. We need another checkbox. So I'll just duplicate the line. Okay. With an ID attribute value of energetic. ID should be... So see, in this, obviously I want the ID as well as for to change, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to double click the lazy.
Okay.
And if I do Control D, it will select the next duplicate of that text.
Again, I need to know this one. First, what you do?
Double click lazy.
Double click lazy.
And do Control D.
Control D. Select another one.
Yeah. So instead you go to the first import, you double click ID.
Double click ID.
First input, first line, line 44.
Yeah.
Now you press ID, you press Control D. And another Control D.
It selects all other similar.
All other same text.
Same text. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Good.
So in our case, we want to just change the lazy. Right. So I'll do Control D, lazy, and then we need to make it what?
Energetic.
Okay.
Energetic.
Okay. And the text also should change from lazy to energetic.
So why we didn't do it 3 times?
What 3 times?
Can you check my screen?
Yeah.
So here, lazy.
Yeah.
Then Control D.
Yeah.
Control D. Energetic.
Yeah.
It can. Okay.
It can, but the only reason why I didn't select it is because we had the capital L here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So typically, again, it depends on, see, in VS Code, you have the setting. While pressing that Control D, you have an option to either choose that it should recognize the case. Like if you have a capital and a small, it won't select the capital. You have an option to set that. Okay. But I never use it though. But anyway, so I think we are done, right? Also add a label element to the right of the new checkbox with the text energetic. Make sure to associate the label with the new checkbox. Done. So we have done input, ID equals energetic, type equals checkbox, name equals personality, label for equals energetic. So these two are associated, and we had the text energetic. Okay. It is very tempting to just make the change and click this and then wait for it to show the error. At least it is showing you the error here. Sure. But maybe when you are developing stuff for yourself, you might not get an error. So before you always run, go through your stuff. Before you change the file, before you change the tab, before you move away, Because in your head you might think you have written the correct thing. But actually read it before doing it. Check your code. Submit next challenge. We are in 15.9.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll take a break now. Just want to know how much more is left. We are very close, dude. I think we'll finish it today.
Yeah, of course.
This first section. Okay. So, time for a break.
So did he
Okay, all good?
Yeah.
Going to start the last one.
Last session, yeah.
We'll probably finish this, and then tomorrow we can start with the CSS part, with the CSS menu.
Inshallah.
Okay, because you only literally first you only you only need the basics in this first section and second section. These two sections will be slow
Yeah.
till you grasp the basics. After this, from here onwards, you will go fast. Everything will happen fast. Okay, because you would have already learned the concept, right?
Yeah.
Fine. So we are in step 59. Like radio buttons, form data for selected checkboxes are name/value attribute pairs. While the value attribute is optional, it's best practice to include it with any checkboxes or radio buttons on the page. Add a value attribute to each checkbox. For convenience, set each checkbox's value attribute to be the same as that of the ID attribute. So we need 3. This is for which one do we have to do? For the selected checkboxes. For each checkbox. Okay. This is type radio name value. We need it for the checkbox. Okay. So we'll say ID equal to that. ID equal to this. And ID equal to energetic. Okay. So what do we need to do? We need to set value equal to the same name as ID. Okay, we have done value for indoor and outdoor. You see here in 39 and 40, we already set it.
Yeah.
We are doing the same thing for the personality. Okay, now I put 3 thingies here. 3 text things.
After
okay.
ID loving, ID lazy, and ID energetic.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, those 3 duplicate cursors. You have to hold Alt for it.
Yeah.
Okay. So now what I'm going to do is Control Shift. Copy this whole thing. Control Shift left.
Control Shift left. Okay.
And one more Shift left. And one, yeah. So now you have equal to the whole thing copied, right?
Yeah.
Now in each one of these lines, I literally have to like press right space. And I do what we need, value, right? Value, paste. Did you understand what I did?
Should I copy this stuff?
Copy it.
Yeah. Space. Okay. Control V. Or
value equal to.
Value equals to.
You already copied equal to, right? Yeah. So just paste. Control V.
Yeah.
Got it for all?
Oh. Yeah.
So once you have duplicates and stuff like that, so you literally make this one and copy paste. Okay, check your code. All good?
Yeah.
50, 60. Okay. We have the 2 field sets with us now. Okay, fine. In order to make a checkbox selected or radio selected by default, you need to add the checked attribute to it. There is no need to set a value to the checked attribute. Instead, just add the word checked to the input element. Make sure that there is a space between it and other attributes. Make the first radio button and first checkbox selected by default. Where did we do checked or something like that before?
No, we didn't do it.
Required we did, right?
Required.
In the form. Like you could not submit it if you did not input a form.
Sure.
Like that, it is the same thing. Like how required equal to true or required equal to false, right?
Yeah.
Like that, it is checked. So if you put the attribute checked, basically you're saying checked equals true. By default, that value will come as ticked.
Ticked. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for any form, it can just have, like for radio button, I think only one can be ticked, right?
Yeah.
But for checkbox, maybe multiple can be checked.
Yeah.
Okay. So now what we will do is input ID equals, our requirement is make the first radio button and first checkbox selected by default. So input ID equals blah blah blah. For the indoor, I will make it selected.
Didn't mention selected. You mentioned checked.
Oh, sorry, checked. Sorry. Checked. And in the, so you see over here, inbox is now checked.
Yeah.
Similarly, if I do checked for
Outdoor.
For no, not for outdoor. For the next question set for cat personality.
Okay.
Then this will be checked. Did you understand what we are trying to do? Did you understand what the problem is? I mean,
no.
what he's trying to tell you.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, just read the part out. Read out the problem statement.
So what I already read that one, and I think he wants us to check only one, like radio.
Yeah.
So
No,
here,
he wants the first for indoor or outdoor cat. He wants the first option ticked, and for cat personality, he wants the first option ticked. Right?
Okay.
Read this last sentence. Right? Make the first radio button and the first checkbox selected by default.
Okay.
And you make it selected by adding the checked attribute.
Okay. In the input here, I
Yeah.
have ID, type, name, after the name, yeah?
Yeah.
Value,
After value also.
what is called? Checked.
Checked, yeah.
That's it?
Yeah. So now you see what happened on the list.
Already checked. And then I go to field says second one, I go to loving one, and
Yeah.
at the end, after 4, yeah?
But where are you at?
Sorry, after value.
Yeah.
So I put checked, it's by default.
Yep.
Now I go.
Okay. Now what I am interested in knowing is if I have this checked here for a checkbox, right? I have this checked, right? For a checkbox.
When you click the others.
If I put it for another one, it should work. Because 2 of these guys can be checked out. But it should not work if I put it for radio. Right? Because in radio, it will obviously take the last value, even if this is checked. This is checked, right?
Yeah.
Then afterwards, so HTML is reading it from the top to the bottom, right? So for this group, this is the last checked value. If this was labeled, right?
Yeah.
If I had 10 also, and if all of them were checked, only the last one would be the one which is checked by default. But if you have that for the if you have that in checkbox, all of them will be checked. You understand?
Yeah.
But for radio, only one will be checked. The last one which has the checked value. So even if you do have multiple checked for radios, only one will always be selected.
Selected, okay.
Okay. What was I? Not this. Not this.
Remove checked from outdoor.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I think that's it, right? Yeah. Check your code. Submit and go. Step 61.
Yeah.
Now you will add a footer section to the page. After the main element, add a footer element. After the main element, start a footer element. All good?
Yeah.
Nest a P element with the text no copyright dash this one.
Okay.
Inside the footer element, you need a paragraph.
Oh yeah. Is the paragraph self-closing or not?
No. All good?
Yeah. Where is that no copyright? Where did it go? We cannot see it now.
Yeah, it's there, no, at the bottom.
At the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We are writing in footer, yeah?
Yeah, footer.
Oh, okay. Footer, yeah.
make the text freeCodeCamp.org into a link by enclosing it into an anchor element. The href attribute should point to that. Remember how to make an a tag, right? A href.
Yeah.
We have to do that. And we have to make it this URL.
Is href or href?
href.
Oh, okay. Equals to.
What did you do? Read the question again. Make the text.
No copyright. Freedom. Yeah, that's what I did.
Make how much text? Can you undo what you had here? Undo this. No. Click that and Control Z undo.
Doesn't work now.
Click on the text. Yeah, now you do undo.
Yeah.
This is what you had, right?
Yeah.
Now read the question again. Make the text freeCodeCamp.org.
So,
Only that, yeah. Only that part.
So, where should I start the...
There, yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
The anchor?
Yeah. Anchor is inline, right?
Okay.
It comes on the same line. Wherever you put it. Anchor, span. What else? We saw a couple more inline elements, right?
Sure.
What else was inline, dude? What happens to an href tag?
Nothing.
Tell me how it works. Tell me how the a tag works.
Is it with the column?
No, it is the thing which you use to put a link.
href and column, semicolon.
href double equal to and the double quotes.
Double quotes.
And you put the text. And then how is it supposed to work? You put a text and the text you are giving a link.
Yeah.
So when you click on the text, it has to go to that place.
Sure.
Right. So now what have you done? You have given a href equal to that thing.
That's yeah.
Right.
The link.
Yeah. But what are you expect now that you have typed this? What are you expecting to happen?
So when you go and click to that code,
okay.
that link.
Okay.
So that text, it will take you to link.
It will take you to link. Fine.
Should
okay.
I put another text outside?
No. So understand yourself. You have put the a href you have put, but you need to click on something, right?
That's the text in here. Is it this one?
Yeah, but that is the URL.
The URL should be in
here.
here.
So for you, what had happened was you have to. That should basically come out. That should be text that you type outside.
Here, yeah.
Yeah.
Like this.
Nope. Open a new tab. Search for HTML a href.
href, okay. Okay. Now.
So now tell me what happens here. What happens here?
So the text should be stay outside. The
yep.
link should be inside.
Yeah. Click try it yourself.
Sorry?
Click try it yourself. Right. So on the right side you see the output, right? Mm-hmm. So a href equal to is the place where it goes to.
Sure.
W3 schools, the stuff that is between the opening a tag and closing a tag is what is displayed on the screen. Okay.
Yeah.
So now in your case, what do you have to do?
So what I will do, I will go back all. Yeah, it was like this.
Yep.
So now I have to href equals to.
It's already copied, I think, bro.
No, I copied.
Okay.
Is it? I don't know.
No problem. It's all good.
And then here I close.
Done?
Correct?
Yep. It looks alright.
Yeah.
Okay. So anytime you don't recall something or anything like that, simple.
Go to new
Google.
tab. Yeah.
Okay. The answer for all your problems basically is just Google, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So submit and go to the next.
64.
64. How much time do we have? We have 10 minutes. Notice that everything you have added to the page so far is inside the body element. All page content should be rendered. All page contents that should be rendered to the page go inside the body element. However, other important information goes inside the head element. Add a head element just before the body element. Like how you have a body tag, you need a head tag, right?
Yeah. Okay.
All good. The title element determines what browsers show in the title bar or the tab for the page, right? So that is essentially what is there here. You see, learn HTML by building a cat photo app, right? Go Control Shift C, and you see the head tag here.
Yeah.
This head tag you open, it obviously has a ton of tags. What is the tag that you're looking for? Title. Okay. So in head, if you search for title, this is the title. Correct?
Yeah.
So this title is the one which is shown here.
Okay.
Okay. Similarly, you pick up this page. What does this have? Try it editor v3.7.
So that's okay. That is not the link. Okay. I understand now. Yeah.
Okay. This one has try it editor whatnot. Or this one has HTML field set tag. Come here. Look at the head tag. Inside the head tag, there should be a title tag. Where is the title tag? Script, link, meta. Title.
Yeah.
This is the title here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, you come here.
You can change it, yeah.
Save it.
Yeah.
Done.
Changed.
Right. So what you are setting over here is, I'll close all of these tags. We don't need them now, right?
Yeah.
So now you need to add a title. That is the title. And the title needs to have, title element determines what browsers show in the title bar or the tab for the page. Add a title element within the head element. Its text should be cat photo app.
Cat photo app.
All good? So here you're seeing the title shown in this part for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You have a mistake. What mistake do you have?
I think spelling, no?
Yeah, but which spelling?
Your title image should not be nested inside the head. What the fuck is
It's trying to help you out, but there is a mistake. There is a spelling mistake. Where is it at?
Okay. Title. Yeah. Title. Yeah.
Yeah. All good?
Yeah.
That was 65.
66. No?
66. Notice that the entire contents of the page are nested within an HTML element.
Yeah.
All other elements must be descendants of this HTML element. Add the lang attribute with the value en to the opening HTML tag to specify the language that is in English. So, do you understand?
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously understand. Obviously, you visit Arabic websites, you visit French websites and things like that, right?
All different languages.
So now say for example, if I go to Sky News and we open this, you will find Control Shift agree. The report is supposed to come out today or tomorrow.
What's
Yeah,
report?
today. That Sue Gray report.
Corey Johnson.
Yep. Anyway, so if we go to Control Shift C, dude. You see doc type HTML. HTML lang is language equals English. Similarly, let us go to this is Al Jazeera's page, right?
Yeah.
Close this. Control Shift C. And this language Arabic. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to Le Pen.
Français. French.
Yeah.
Language French.
Why are they adding this?
To translate.
Not just to translate. You and I can see this, right? You and I see this.
Yeah.
We see the page, we see the image. And then I can see and I can think, bro, this is not English, or this is not French, or this is not Arabic, whatever it may be, right? But a search engine, Google, etc., what do they see?
They see what we're searching for.
No. They see what you're searching for, then they have to show you result, no?
Sure.
And if you say, let us say you ask for croissant.
Yeah.
I have to know what websites have croissant. I, as Google, should know the content of the page.
Yeah.
It is only if I know what is a good website I can show you.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And I should know what language are you asking for. Are you asking in English? Are you asking in French? Are you asking in what?
Yeah.
And I have to find the relevant websites.
Oh.
Therefore, what happens is, there is this whole concept of images. So you see this stuff. This is essentially what Google does. We are probably visiting websites, etc. Google's computers 24/7 are going through all the websites of the world. That is what the company does. It goes through all websites and tries to understand what type of content is on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So a crawler, this is the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is essentially what the search engine is doing. It has a downloader. It will download the URL and it will probably schedule it. This is probably a crawler which is just going through all the pages and getting all the stuff. Okay. It goes through a website. It finds out how many pages are there on the website, all URLs. It puts it in a queue. Then it schedules the download process and then it downloads the text. It keeps doing this over and over again. Right? Maybe it will do it now. After 1 hour again it will come and check, hey, have your URLs changed? Has any content on your pages changed? And then it will download it. That is how it makes sense of something. Let us say, for example, something happens. Let us say, for example, some building catches fire half an hour ago. How is it on Google? If you say whatever, my city fire news, right? Let us say, for example, you go Manchester fire news, okay? And you go to the news section, okay? And here, if I say in tools, so recent in the past 24 hours, 9 hours ago, there is this news report. How does Google know that, hey, this new news article has come and this is a match for this? That is because behind the scenes, it's always looking at pages. It's always looking at what is the content of the page. And the website, I mean, Google does not see this, does not see all of this. Google only sees this. It sees only this. And that is how it tries to make sense of what is there. That is why you put a heading of, hey, this is about cats. Or this is why headings are important and other stuff is important, because the search engine is looking for those pieces of text and doing it. So basically, what is SEO? You have heard of SEO so many times, right?
Yeah.
So what is SEO? We'll forget about factors, vectors and whatnot. We'll just see about relevant topics. Why is SEO? How can I learn SEO? Thank you. Anyway, we're wrapping up after this, yeah? So you have types of search engine success factors. They're looking for content. They're looking for site architecture. How are your URLs organized? Yeah. Right? They're looking at your code. They're looking at how many tags that you have, what those tags information is about. They're looking at whether you are just a new site who has just come up today, or are you a site who is an expert in that domain since a very long time. Right? It will look at how many links are you having. Does your website connect to a bunch of websites? Are you just connecting everywhere, or other people also trying to connect to you? Right? If you're a good source of information, then other people will also refer to you, right? But you can probably fake a bunch of links and connect to other people, right? Then toxins, whatnot, right? So yeah, so these are the things that basically the search engine sees. That is how it understands what your website is about. So over here we have, what do we have to do? Notice that the entire content is nested within the HTML element. All other elements must be descendants of the HTML element. Add the lang attribute. HTML lang equals en to the opening HTML tag to specify that the language of this page is English. All good?
Yeah.
All the pages should begin with a doc type HTML. That should be the first line. Come here, you see this?
Yeah, doc type.
Come here, Control Shift C. Come here, what is this?
Doc type.
Come here, see.
Doc type HTML.
The reason why you're doing doc type is you have different kinds of things that are going in, right?
So that's me. This title means that the HTML or this document type written in HTML or what?
Yeah, that is essentially what you're saying, because obviously the websites or the internet traffic is transferring different types of things, right?
Yeah.
Text, image, video, audio, and a bunch of stuff. This is also basically a text file.
Okay,
right?
text file.
And in this text file, not just text and video, audio, you have like JSON data, or every time, let us say you try to log into a website and you type your username, Syed, and your password and you press enter.
Yeah.
Obviously your username, password gets sent to someone, right? Then they check whether your username, password match, whether you are who you are. Then in reply, they will tell back, yeah, this person is okay. That's essentially what is happening, right?
Yeah.
So the document type can be of many different types. Doc type values, recommended doc type, HTML doc type. See, typically you're doing doc type HTML.
Yeah.
Right? But you can also, depending on, this is HTML5 and beyond, right now you just need to mention HTML.
Yeah.
But in the previous versions, HTML4, etc., you had to mention this type. Doc type HTML, it complies to these set of rules. W3C is basically the organization that manages the rule set and stuff like that. You say my doc type is HTML and it complies to these rules.
Okay.
Okay, or it complies to transitional rules, or it comprises, it follows this frame set, or this was the previous, this ones, right? Strict, transitional, frame set, DTD, whatever. These are all the previous types, right? Math ML. See, doc type math.
Public, yeah.
Right? Then you have doc type HTML, doc type SVG. You know what SVG is?
No.
SVG is basically an icon. It's a text file in which you can specify. You see this thing?
Icons, yeah.
It's not a photo. This is not a photo.
No.
This is just a mathematical, like how you have a HTML document, right?
Yeah.
Like that you have, let us say I open this, download SVG file. And if I go here, And if I say open, right click, open with notepad. Where is?
Choose other.
Wait, if we open it with Edge, what do you see? You see the burger. Okay. Okay, we are done, dude. We're done for the day, right? So you see a burger.
Yeah.
But if you actually open this text file and let us say, because VS Code will take time to open, that's why Control O, downloads all files. If you open this, this is the text.
HTML version.
So in this, what is the first thing? XML version, that doc type SVG.
Public, yeah.
Okay. So we'll copy all of this, and if you want to see what it looks like, HTML formatter, free online formatter, agree and proceed. If I paste this here, 4 spaces, format HTML or format HTML in new window. Doesn't this look like HTML to you?
It looks like HTML, yeah.
Right? It starts with a tag, it has another tag and whatnot, and it has a parent tag and child tag and whatnot.
Sure.
Okay, it's just that over here the child tag is like a path, starting at this point, ending at this point, whatever is the curve. So you're basically telling draw these points and join them together. That's what SVG is. Okay. So the advantage of SVG is because this is not a photo, right? I can do this. I can zoom in, zoom out, it will be the same sharpness. There is no change in edge.
Okay.
Okay. So if we look at some simple SVG, circle. What is the code for circle? Just this much. This is all is the code. SVG, height equals 100, width equals 100, circle, probably whatever, x stroke, y stroke, probably start of x and y coordinates, radius equals 40, stroke black, stroke width 3, fill red. It is literally like a
HTML code in all.
HTML tag, right? You change this to, for radius you do 120, run, it will become way bigger outside here. If I remove height and width, what will happen? Only this much part is coming. But if I do height 1000, width 1000, x and y I will do, right now the center is here, 50 from here, 50 from here.
Yeah.
Okay. If I do 500 from there and 500 from there, it will probably come here. Okay. 500 from top, 500 from here. Instead we will do 200 and 200. Okay. 200 from x, 200 from y.
Yeah.
Radius 120. So if we do radius 150, bigger, smaller, stroke, what do you want?
Any color.
Alice blue. Width 10. Fill white. I don't like white. We will do hash F6 F6 F6. This is just HTML, right? So now for this document we need to tell, bro, this is not HTML, this is SVG.
SVG.
Like how you have HTML, SVG, you will also have a CSS file, you will have a JavaScript file, you will have a ton of different files, right? So you basically tell, bro, this is a HTML file. We can close all the other stuff. Whoops. We have to say what is our job? We should add doc type.
Doc type only, yeah.
Add doc type. This special string is known as a declaration and ensures that the browser tries to meet the industry-wide specifications. To complete this project, add the declaration as the first line of the code. All good?
Yeah.
Are you done?
It's done.
You are done. Done. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
all good with HTML?
Yeah.
Okay. So now before we go back here. Okay. Now from the top to the bottom, I want you to scroll through the document and tell me, just give me a quick overview of what you understand. Give me like one property of something and just give me a quick overview of these tags.
So
From start to finish.
Whenever we want to create HTML folder, we have to divide it, split it in two. First is header and second is body.
Good.
Okay. So when we go to the body, all our work will be most of our work will be in the body.
Okay.
We can add images, we can add text, we can add paragraphs, we can add headings, right?
Yeah.
So for headings, we have from H1 to H6.
Yes.
H1 is the biggest one or the
most important one?
Most important one.
Yeah.
And the H6 is the less important one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we have tag. Okay.
Okay. So I just want to add something about the headings.
Yeah.
Right? You can have stuff that looks like a heading, but does not have to be a heading. In the sense, let us say we go here. You see the headings. This is H1, H2. All of these are headings.
Sure.
Okay. The same thing you can do to a paragraph. Paragraph class equals H1. You understand? So it looks like H1.
Yeah.
For everything that you see, everything you display, it is the exact thing as H1. But it is not a H1. So this becomes important from like an SEO perspective. Like the search engine is looking for the most important topic to be in H1.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And subtopics as H2, H3 and stuff like that. Right? So the importance of H1 and H6 is from that perspective.
Yeah.
But you also obviously need to understand that with CSS, you can make anything look like a H1.
H1. Okay.
Right. So a difference between something that looks like H1 and something that is a H1. Okay. Yeah. Continue.
So, and then we have images, we have lists, we have...
Okay. Tell me something about images. How will you set an image?
Image, just you have to
you can scroll through this for reference if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to start a tag with IMG.
Right.
Let me see. Where is it in here? Section.
Line 23.
Line 23. Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
You have to put this SRC.
Okay.
Source.
Okay.
Right. Alt is for alternative, right?
Yeah. Why do you use an alt? What is
alternative? I don't remember, to be honest.
Okay.
Alternative.
Okay. Alternative is like the text, alternative text that is displayed if
okay.
an image doesn't.
Is it like a caption of that picture?
If the image doesn't come, it comes as sort of like caption. But obviously you have seen the fig caption and that to display the caption.
The caption, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And then you have OL, it is order list. You can put inside a list, an order list, yeah?
Okay.
Inside. And we go also through figures. What is, figures is same like image, right?
Right.
But in bigger, like image inside the figure. Or it's same thing. So because in the figure you can add caption.
Correct. So think of the use case, right? Yeah. So in figure, which has a caption below it, and obviously with HTML, CSS you can do whatever you want, right? Sure. You don't have to add an image.
No.
So you can probably add a table.
Yeah.
Right? You can add what else?
Video,
anything that comes inside the box of a figure can have a figure caption. It can have any content inside. You can put a paragraph, you can put a text, whatever you want you can do, but works best with video or audio or image or a table and things like that. I mean, obviously logically you're trying to say that, hey, this looks like a good format.
So that's the reason why we had image inside the figure.
Okay.
And then H2, okay.
So that section in 36, 37, why would you do that?
36, 37, yeah?
Yeah.
This section starts from here. It's a different place.
Okay. But why are you using the section tag?
Section tag.
No, why are you using it?
I don't remember.
Okay, so fine. Okay, we'll talk about other tags and we'll come back. Anything else that catches your mind here?
No, all other things are okay for me.
Give me an overview of those fields and input forms. How are you working with them?
Which one? Which
line 45, you have field set and all that stuff, no? So what is
field set?
Yeah.
It is this one in here. If you go to the right, you see this line. This what do you call
box?
This box, exactly. Field
Right.
set is for box.
Right.
So you put all information or a form, okay, inside the field set.
Okay.
Okay, so here we can see on the right
You put a group of questions.
side, group of questions.
A related group of questions in one field
In
set.
one field set.
Okay.
In one form. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's say you have two survey or two questions about
Right.
survey.
Right.
So you can use field set for first survey, field set for second survey.
Okay.
Different question and different answer. That's
Okay.
the interview can select from.
Okay. Fine. Tell me how forms work.
What is a form?
The whole thing is a form, right? The whole cat
The whole
form.
thing is
Input, output.
It's similar to
Go to the starting of the form tag.
53.
39. Line 39.
Yeah, starts from
Right?
here.
So, give me an overview of how a form works.
So form, I think, is similar to like field set or something. So you include everything inside it. It's like a box, but
Okay, fine. What is a form? Like you have a website and then you have a random, let us say a business website, and you have a contact form, right? Why do you use the form? On a website, let us say for example,
so you remember when we were talking about field set.
yeah,
So inside field set, we group some stuff.
questions.
Questions. Let's say questions. Yeah.
Okay.
So this group, okay, it is a form at the end. When you see it as a form. Right?
It's a part of a form, you can
It's
say.
a part of form. Yeah.
Right? A form basically is any form that you have on a paper.
Yeah.
Go to some place, let us say you go to the hospital and they give you a paper,
Field
right?
form, yeah.
So what do you do in that? You put your name, your address, you have a bunch of questions that are asked and
That's true.
they're grouped together and you submit all the information to them, right? Now on an online website, let us say you go to Zoopla and we'll pick up something. Let's say we will say
That's a form, yeah.
this
Is a form.
is a form,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
right? So in this you are giving a bunch of information which either they're going to save it or they're going to process it or do something, right? So let us say we do search, okay? And then you come, let us say, to this property. You have this thing.
Yeah.
If I click here,
It's again a form.
correct?
Yeah.
So in this form, you're sending information or whatnot. You're trying to capture information. Okay. So how does this work?
What do you mean?
I'll enter all of my information, right?
Yeah.
Just give me a quick overview of how do you think this works? I enter my stuff and I click a button. What happens behind the scenes?
Well, I need to do it again. Memorize again.
Right. Okay. Couple of things that I want to point out.
Yeah.
Okay. First, I'll answer your form question.
Yeah.
So a form, everything that on the internet works. Now basically if I say google.com, when I press enter,
Yeah.
think of this as a form where you're inputting some value. And I press enter, the data gets sent to those guys, they receive the request,
Yeah.
they look into its packages, then they do something and they give you back something.
Sure.
That is essentially how the internet works.
Sure.
Okay. So if we go to how does the internet work, we'll search for an image.
Yeah.
Let's take something that looks a little simple. Okay. You have a phone.
Yeah.
And on the phone, you type a website name.
Sure.
This is a computer. The computer is connected to wires and whatnot. So you might tell, hey, there are wires and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Shit. Let's just take this image. We'll forget about packets and modems and all of that stuff. Okay. Simple, straightforward use case. This is the image. You have your computer.
Yeah.
You have a modem.
Yeah.
Every building sort of has like a modem. You send a request.
Yeah.
That request, we'll forget about all the electronic parts or whatnot. We'll forget about packets and contents and all of that. That request goes to the modem. The modem sends it to whichever company. Virgin, whatnot. They have their servers, right? Those guys forward it to the rest of this whole router, DNS and ISP is there, no?
Yeah.
So it comes here. It comes to, let us say, the router, and this probably belongs to the whatever, your Virgin whatnot guy, right?
Yeah.
So that guy sends it to, when I say google.com, remember you talked about the domain name server?
Yeah.
And it goes through the DNS, and the DNS takes the name and gives you an equivalent URL, address, number, right? And then you take that and you go to that router. You take that address, 168, 162, something.
Sure.
You reach that server, right? So every time I say google.com, this is exactly what happens. My router sends it to Virgin or E2 or whoever. Those guys, because we know google.com, it skips this step because you already know it skips this DNS step. But the first time, every time you type any website, this is what happens, right? So it'll go, then it'll find out which is the server, then it'll reach the server, and the server is like, hey, somebody is looking for you types. And the server is like, okay, fine, here, send him this HTML. And that is how everything comes back from there all the way here. Okay. So now to the context of forms. Okay.
Sure.
So in a form, if you just make a form, right? Forget this action part. Form, blah, 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 button, and you have a submit. If I just click this submit, nothing is going to happen magically. We need to tell that when you click this submit, please take all of this information and send it to this place.
I see.
Right? And when you do send it, when you do this, blah, 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 and if I submit this, it goes to this page.
Yeah.
And then that guy is like, bro, I received your information. Thank you for it. Okay. So now say, for example, if I do submit, you get this, right? We have received, we will review your submitted response and reply if needed. Scroll up, Control Shift J, network. Let us see what is happening behind the scenes. Okay. Come here, that, and this. Submit. Okay. Something happened.
Yeah.
Now we will see here what happened. You see this? You see this submit cat photo?
Yeah.
Indoor, outdoor equal to indoor.
Yeah.
And personality equal to loving.
Yeah.
And cat something equals something else.
Sure.
Okay. So if I take this guy, headers, you see the payload?
Yeah.
These are the values that we sent.
Yeah.
Indoor, outdoor, indoor. Personality, loving. Cat photo URL is what we typed in.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay. This is the how we sent it. Okay. This information we sent it to that URL. Right?
Okay.
This information was sent to where? It was sent to this URL. Where is the form? This. It was sent here.
Yeah.
Okay. And that guy received the information. You see this 200. This is also what was sent. Okay. No, we don't need any of this stuff. So this is the response that you got.
Yeah.
How do I move this up to? This was us sending the info.
Yeah.
Here is the payload. Think of it as like a post box, like a box. In the box, you're putting this information and sending it to him. That guy opens the box. He says, so this is what you're asking for. He puts his reply in the box and he sends it. And his reply was this. His reply was, we sent all of this. Question, indoor, outdoor, indoor personality. This is what we sent. Okay. And his response was, here, take a text and HTML file. This is the character set. I am sending this to you at this time. And forget about all the other stuff. Okay. Character encoding, blah, blah, blah. Leave all of those things. So, like we were telling about how you can send an HTML file, send different types of files, right? Now, this server accepts text, HTML, XML, application XML file, image, WebP, image, PNG, signed exchange. These are all the things that it accepts. Okay.
Yeah,
and that is why we are telling, hey, this is a HTML file. Type is HTML. Doc type is HTML. Okay. So it gets all of this, and in the payload, this is the stuff that we are sending. This is the response that it sent. In response, it sent this file. It literally sent this file. Okay. And that file, if we open it in a HTML thing, this is what it comes up to. So his response literally was again this. See, doc type HTML, HTML lang English, header, title is thank you for sending, meta, blah, 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 blah. Style, this is where your background and text color and all is set. Okay. Height 90, margin 0, blah, blah, blah. And the text that you saw was H1, thank you. Paragraph, we will review your response. Footer, copyright 2021, this. And that is what is this. Header, paragraph, footer. Okay. So you understand how the net works in general. Okay. Fine. So anything else that you want to have a look at here? Buttons, all of this we will look at styling later.
Yeah.
I think we can wrap up today's stuff here. So I think today has been quite productive.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
We will wrap up today's stuff.